Hi everyone, it's Miss Sote. So for calculator tutorial number 2, I just want to graph some special functions. You probably already watched the Desmos activity, so you know that our focus is going to be on square root functions and also functions with exponents. So that is going to be our focus for right now. As always with our calculators, you should follow along. So if you want to pause this video and grab your calculator real quick, that would be really smart. But I'm going to get started. And we're always going to start, turn on our calculator, click that little on button in the corner, and you know it's on if it has the little blinking rectangle. So since we're graphing again, we really want to go into our graphing function area, and that's when you click the y equals. So I clicked clear to get rid of my last function that I was graphing so that I can start my new one. And so we're going to start with square root functions. And if you look on our keypad, you can see that there's a little square root symbol right above the x squared button. So this button means that since it's in blue, we first need to click the blue second button, and that will give us our square root. So if we click the second button, and then we click the x squared button, because it has the square root symbol right on top, then you'll see we now have a square root symbol. And so let's type something in. I'm going to do 2. And then remember, if we want a variable, we have to click the xt theta n button. So I got 2x minus 8. Sure. And if you notice, all of this has been underneath the square root. So if you want anything outside of the square root afterwards, you have to click this right arrow. And now everything else will be outside of the square root. You can look really carefully and you can see the line ends right after the 8. So now we're going to graph the square root of 2x minus 8 minus 9. And to graph, remember you click the graph button. And as you can see, our window's a little bit wonky because we can only see a tiny part of our graph. So let's click window and let's change it. So it was in that fourth quadrant, which means we're really only dealing with negative x's and negative y's. So I might have my minimum at negative 20 and my maximum at 10. And I'll scale by 2 this time. And then I'll do my y minimum, also negative 20, y max 0, and scale by 2. And I totally just realized my x min is, my x values are in the positive x values, so I should actually change it from 0 to positive 20. But now if we graph, we can get a much better idea of our function. So remember to always change your window. Let's go back to y equals, and let's click clear. And now let's do 2 special types of exponent functions. So if you look here, we just dealt with this button, the x squared button, because it had the square root right on top. If you just want to square something, then this button is your friend. So if I just want to graph like x squared, then I'm going to type my x with this button, and then I'm just going to click the x squared button. And if you notice, it immediately put a 2 in the exponent. And then I can do like plus 9. And we can graph that, which is not going to be a good window because we got to change that. So let's go back to negative 10, 10, scale 1, negative 10, 10, scale 1. And let's graph it again. And that's still not a great window, but at least you can see the bottom. And finding the correct window was kind of a theme of last class. So let's go back to y equals. Now let's figure out how can I graph something if I want something more than just a 2 in the exponent. So again, let's click clear. And if you want like x plus 7 in your exponent, then what you're going to do is, let's start with like the number 8. And I want 8 to have an exponent of x plus 6. And the way you're going to do that is the way you do it on your computer. You're going to click this little caret button, and now it's going to give you everything that you want in the exponent. And we said we wanted x plus 6, so I got to click my little variable button, x plus 6. And then if you want to get out of the exponent part, you just click the right arrow again, and you can do whatever you want with that. So we'll click graph again, and we've got a pretty good vision of our, or pretty good view of our graph. You could move it a little bit so that we don't have any of this in our window, but again, this is not the point of this video. So that is how you graph something when you want fun exponents, when you want just 2 in your exponent, and you click second and then x squared if you want square roots to deal with. So that is how you graph those types of functions. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day.